Hey guys, and welcome to our unboxing of the iPad Air 4th generation 2020. In this video, I'm going to review and compare the iPad Air 4th generation to a Samsung Galaxy Tab S6. Please remember to like our video if you find it useful and subscribe to our channel as it really helps us to grow. The iPad Air that I have available to me today is in the sky blue colour and it is a 64GB variant. At the time of recording this video, the price of this is £579 from Apple. The Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 that I have here today is in the mountain grey variant and is 128GB space storage with expandable SD card. The price of this is £619 at the time of recording this video, which is more expensive than the iPad. However, the Samsung does come with the Samsung S Pen, whereas for the Apple Pencil, for the iPad, you have to pay another £119 for the 2nd generation pencil. Let's get into the unboxings. Unboxing the iPad, opening up the box. Inside, we find our iPad. Pulling on the pull tab, notice that the box has got a cutout for the camera bump. We have our warranty information, a quick start guide, and of course the Apple stickers. Also inside the box we have a USB Type-C to Type-C charging cable, and interestingly, unlike the new iPhone 12 and 12 Pro, we have a power brick. Unboxing the Samsung tablet, opening up the box, again the first thing we see is the tablet. Pulling the pull tab, inside the box we have the S Pen, a warranty information and quick start guide, and a SIM tray tool, which is the SIM tray used for the expandable storage. We have a fast charging wall plug and a USB Type-C to Type-C power cable. This part of the video is recorded using the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 in order to give you a comparison with the next part of the video, which will be recorded on the iPad Air 4th generation. The specifications of the iPad Air's 4th generation: it has got a 10.9-inch liquid retina display with a 60Hz refresh rate and 500 nits maximum brightness. It's got the new A14 Bionic chip. It's got Bluetooth 5.0. It's got Wi-Fi 6. It's got a battery life of around about 9 hours. It charges via USB Type-C and it weighs around about 458 grams. This part of the video is recorded on the iPad Air 4th generation 2020 to give you a direct comparison with the previous part of the video, which was recorded on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 in terms of video performance and microphone performance. Getting into the specifications of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6, it comes with a 10.5-inch Super AMOLED display with a 60Hz refresh rate. The processor is an 855 Snapdragon. It comes with Bluetooth 5.0. The battery life is stated to be around about 9 hours. It's got USB Type-C recharging. It's got dual cameras on the back, which are 13 megapixels and 5 megapixels. And on the front, the camera is 7 megapixels. And it weighs around about 420 grams. Comparing these two tablets therefore on paper, to conclude, while the iPad does have a larger screen, the Samsung does have a Super AMOLED screen. And while the Samsung does have a better megapixel front and rear camera, the iPad does on paper have a better processor. Now I think on paper the difference between these will come down to your personal preference between whether you prefer iOS or Android software. Reviewing the design and look of these tablets, when flat on a table, the camera bump for the Samsung does cause some wobble, and there is a similar amount of wobble for the iPad. Both tablets have got rounded corners and squared off edges and fully metal backs. On the Samsung, the S Pen goes on the back, whereas on the iPad, the Apple Pencil will attach this magnetic part here. Both tablets have got 2 speakers on the top and bottom, and on the iPad, the Touch ID is on the top on the lock button, whereas on the Samsung tablet, the Touch ID is under the screen. Comparing the screens on these two tablets, the iPad has got a 10.9 inch display and the Samsung has got a 10.5 inch display. Clearly, the iPad has got a slightly larger screen. However, looking at these images on the iPad, I'm not sure if it comes up on the camera, but to me, the colours pop a lot more on the OLED display of the Samsung and they look slightly sharper. In terms of the brightness, both of these tablets are at their maximum brightness settings. And again, to me, the Samsung appears to be the brighter of the tablet, which is surprising considering traditionally LCD displays can have a higher maximum brightness compared to an OLED. Comparing the speakers on these two devices, the iPad has got 2 on the bottom and 2 speakers on the top, as has the Samsung, 2 on the bottom and 2 on the top. However, on the Samsung, they are claimed to be tuned by AKG. Comparing how they sound, to me, there is very little to choose in between, as they both sound very similar and they can both go to similar volume levels with little distortion at higher volume levels. Therefore, this one is a draw. Comparing the battery life of these two devices, in my real world use of just web browsing and content consumption, on the iPad I got around 9 hours from a full charge. Again, with the Samsung I got exactly the same of around 9 hours with similar use patterns. Carrying out a Geekbench 5 test on both of these tablets in order to find out the CPU performance, the results for which should be on the screen now. For the iPad, the single core score is around about 1500 and the dual core score is around about 4400, whereas for the Samsung Tab S6, the single core score is around about 500 and the dual multi-core score is around about 2200. Therefore, the single core of the A14 chip on the iPad is around about 3 times faster than the Snapdragon 855 on the Samsung Tab S6, and the multi-core score on the A14 iPad is close to double that of the 855 Snapdragon on the Samsung. Interestingly here, the Samsung does come with a Snapdragon 855 as opposed to the Exynos, which we would get in a Samsung phone, but we won't get into that argument here. To conclude, I think that the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 is the better tablet. While the iPad Air does have a much faster processor according to the Geekbench scores, up to 3 times in the single core and nearly twice in the multi-core, I think that the screen on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 sways it here, as due to my daily use, which is just simple web browsing and content consumption, I've never found either to be particularly slow. However, as I said, the screen and the vivid colours on the Samsung sways me in this tablet's favour, as the screen is what you interact with the most on a tablet. Remember to like our video if you found it useful and to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time.